Hi there, and welcome to the Tap Intuit podcast, where each week I have the sincere pleasure of interviewing a wellness professional operating in their area of genius. This week is no different. I am here with Heather, and Heather, I'm really excited that you're here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Heather, today you're representing Flourish in Truth, which is
Right.
your company,
Yes.
and you're doing beautiful work and helping people step into their truth. So thank you.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. Yeah, it's been a journey of, as we all are on our own journey, and it's always unfolding and shifting into different things. But it's been kind of the same message the whole time, is to live in our own power.
Mm-hmm. It's a good reminder to live in your own power and to see where you're sourcing that from.
Yeah.
And this is something that came into your awareness at a tender age. Is that correct?
Yeah. I'm very thankful for my religious upbringing. It always let me know that I was never alone, that God was always with me. And I personally have always talked to my angels, even though the church didn't necessarily tell me how to do that or what that looked like. My perspective of what the church was teaching was that angels were to be spoken to by maybe a clergyman or a priest, or I needed someone to give me permission even to talk to God in a certain way. And I had a lot of questions around that as a kid, but I was very faithful and God was always a big part of my life. And then one day I was by myself in my house and I heard a voice as audible as it was another human. And it startled me. Of course, I was probably 8. And I went and I prayed about it. And my angels were very clear, like, you can talk to us. We're right here. And so it was just a sense of peace, like, it's okay. I can do this. All these things I was sensing and feeling and hearing, like, it's okay. They are with me. And I didn't have to outsource that. And it felt really good to me to have that connection with them.
Absolutely.
Even my favorite prayer at church was the angel of God, my guardian. Like, I remember it over and over. Yeah. I think where it all kind of started was me maybe looking outside of the box or what I was being told and being curious of my interpretation of my relationship, I guess, with God and the angels.
Absolutely. A real-time relationship that is really hard for anybody to tell you to pray away or suppress it because you're making folks uncomfortable. Did you make your parents uncomfortable?
I don't know that I even spoke of it.
Oh, wow.
It was my relationship. I knew my grandma was really close to her angels. She had angel statues everywhere. And so I kind of felt like that was my inside scoop with her, even though we didn't really even talk about it.
It's not so easy to talk about it in every home either. We grew up at a different time, too, to where children were very much, don't be heard, be seen. And when I look at you, make sure your hands are in your lap, folded.
And now that I see myself now going first or being the first one to ask questions, being the first one to draw attention to that is not the easiest path.
Right. Oh, his sister. Yes.
So yeah, it was just my kind of little secret, I guess, that I had with my angels and with God. It was just a different conversation.
I totally vibe with that. I also feel that I was close to the spirit growing up, and I was happy being alone a lot as a kiddo, which isn't typical too. So did you experience that since you were?
I did. Yeah. Me and nature and for
Give you
sure.
a stick and a ditch with some water in it.
For real. I'm still fine being alone because I'm never alone. It's a beautiful place. It's just knowing that there's so much more than what we can see.
Absolutely.
And knowing that we're never alone. And it's just very comforting. And so especially as a kid and not understanding everything, that knowing that I'm never alone was very comforting.
Absolutely. And then you shared with me privately that as you came into motherhood, your gifts just amplified. Is that true?
Well, I think it was more out of desperation and faith. My son was 2 or 3. He was very sick. We'd taken him to doctors. And again, then I was outsourcing my power to the doctors. I was desperate, like, help him. And I was just praying over him. He couldn't breathe. He'd been up for nights, coughing, vomiting, the days and days. And I just put my hands on his back and I prayed over him. God, let me be the conduit. If I can heal him in any way, please work through me to heal him. And it worked. At the time, I didn't know what happened. But in that moment, I knew that God is in me and I am empowered to make change. And I also had the power to move the spirit through me which at the time was very scary because no one had talked to me about that yet. It felt like a miracle to me. And for days, I was just so thankful that I was able to be part of that miracle.
Yeah.
Now I have learned over the journey of peeling back and discovering and praying, and that I can intentionally help people in that way, to use that gift on myself, my family, and intentionally move other people's energy. Of course, it's come a long way. It's been 13 years of doing it, but that's how it started. Yes, was kind of about that desperate mom, like, please help, let me help. And then it was a big awakening. The message came was like, now what? Now what? And the message was, be still and know. Be still to hear the whispers. Calm your mind to hear our messages. And still every day, that's a big focus of mine, is like, oh, get out of my busyness that the world is, I'm outsourcing my thinking, but to be still and know from my heart. So that's still with me every day.
I love that. And it is a big responsibility, it feels too. So thank you for carrying it with such integrity and grace. I've seen your work, but I don't want to skip too far ahead. And you said 13 years. So let's talk about how you, outside of your hands on your baby, started to exercise this more, even for yourself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is an unpacking.
Yeah.
And I think everyone has not only the opportunity to explore their own path in their own way and what feels comfortable yet honors them. I'm never here to force anything on anyone, but to honor everyone exactly where they are. And so for me, I'm a very logical minded person. I'm in dentistry. I'm a mom. I had all these very logical check the boxes type of life. So this was very different when this came into my world. So I immediately started praying about it. And I think that week, a patient of mine came into the chair and she's like, I'm spiritual too. Come to this class with me. And I was very like, I don't trust it. I don't know you really. But it was a kind of energy healing that the hospitals even use to like human touch, to allow babies to be born, allow with digestion. And so for me, that bridged spirituality and scientific. So like that felt safe enough. I worked with that first and tiptoed into that. And then Christian energy healing, a way to, again, help me to feel safe with God in this. And then, I don't know, different things have just come about that as they feel right. And sometimes they are introduced to me and I'm like, not yet.
Right.
And I have to feel it and sense it and be like, I see you, but I'm not ready yet. And I just keep watching it. And then before long, I'd be like, okay, I'm ready. That's how it's evolved for me. Just different practices have come in over time. And so now it's a conglomeration of different things, of course, as everyone, you kind of take all your practices over the time and use what works, how it applies for each person in each situation.
I love that you mentioned that, because it doesn't then become one thing. All of a sudden, it's your flavor of energetic healing practices, right?
Yeah.
And just whatever comes through for that person in the moment.
Right.
But as you said, it's an unpacking. So I don't want to get too off track here, because I don't have that ability. With you starting to do these practices, or the things that are being shown to you after your son, were you working with your family, or did you start working more with yourself in communication?
Yes, I was working with my family, kind of like, oh, let me try this. But I was very timid about it because I knew how powerful it was. Like, without being grounded and balanced, stoplights would go off. My computer was shut down. If I relearned very quickly the energy that I was holding and how to ground it and clear it. And if I didn't ground and I had to kind of take it to my next level, because people would do it on a certain level for me. But like, no, I really... I know how much power that we all can hold and how much we have access to. So yes, I started working on my family. And then as friends would come over, I'd be like, hey, cool, look at this new thing I learned, right? Ooh, you think it'll work? You think it'll work? That's cool, So so it was kind of exploring that way with people I felt safe with. And so it was really fun to be able to try it that way. We were living in Indiana for a time. That's where we're from. And after a while, I still don't know the exact nudge, but there was a nudge to step into something bigger, to I don't know if be bigger is the word. I needed some sort of a shift to get me out of my comfort zone, I think.
Sure.
I don't even really care to know, maybe someday. But then we moved here kind of on a whim. There's a story on how we got here, but it was definitely very God-led. It was definitely a lot of prayer, a lot of thought. It didn't come easily.
Sure.
But it was definitely from the nudge inside of me where I knew at a soul level, a change, I was being pushed a little bit to get out of my comfort zone.
Wow.
As a family, we moved here from Indiana, and it's been a great change with challenges, of course, but it has definitely, I can see now the shift for me and kind of why it had to happen the way it did.
I appreciate that. And I'm also from the Midwest, and back home in the Midwest, if you will, being around family that helped to mold the programming over time and being around the normalcies or what society deems normal in the Midwest would be really tough, in my opinion, to continue to grow in. I joined the military to get out of the Midwest because I knew that I needed to expand. And that's what it feels like you're talking about, is that expansion. Not that you can't do that in the Midwest. I just think that if you started there, there's something that pushes you out of your comfort zone, as you say. Because when we have those constant feedback loops or those reassurances that help other people stay comfortable too, and we're all just making each other stay comfortable, that's not going to help us evolve and then be able to hold space like you do now, right?
Yeah, that could be part of it. Also, I've since learned that the energy here, and it's very magnifying. I mean, you go on hikes and there's quartz crystals all around you, and nature, right? The grounding feeling of the mountains. It's very different. It's just very different, that alone too, right? So I think that's another aspect of it.
Absolutely. I look at Towa or Pikes Peak, and so many people have given me these little bits of wisdom. So I won't pretend this is my knowledge to share, but it's what I've gathered from many friends, that she's a matriarch because she stands alone. And also that you just feel her holding the baseline. I'd wake up, and when I start to drive towards the west to get to whatever major street it is that I'm going, I just immediately, my hands turn on. I'm like, thank you.
Yes. It's majestic too.
Yeah. And to note that people moved here for healing, right? So that gentle nudge that you had was probably more like a shove.
Maybe. Yes. Maybe I didn't really have the choice that I thought I did.
I love, though, that your family has been supportive of your gifts. And I know that you have still been kind of, like a lot of folks stepping into this work, one leg in this world and one leg in this world. And more recently, you've been stepping into this work more publicly, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, thank you. It's again, going first isn't always easy.
No.
Shifting the hat you wear publicly isn't. My ego is kind of uncomfortable with it. But at the same time, it's time. It's time. I've seen this for myself for a while, and I knew it would be uncomfortable, but change is always uncomfortable. And showing up for even yourself in a different way can be uncomfortable. It's just change. And so to me, it almost feels like having a baby, like motherhood. You're like, okay, the baby is coming, and you're so excited and you do all the things to prepare. And then the baby comes and you're like, okay, now what? One day at a time. This is the right thing right now. So that's kind of where I am. I'm so happy you invited me. And it's a beautiful way for me to step into this and to not just shift my energy around it, but to obviously put myself out there.
Sure.
And this was one of those steps that I was like, yes, to say yes, even if it feels a little uncomfortable. And I encourage everybody to do that too. For me, it's more in my intuition, even though my mind and my ego are like, I don't know about this. But in my gut, I knew it was the right thing. So to say yes to what your intuition is telling you.
Right. And I think it's really cool too. I had the privilege of coming to your cacao ceremony last month at Ravyn Collective. And you hold the space for folks so well. I was even a last minute. I was that guy. But they were like, we need another mug. My wonderful eye. Thank
There's
you.
always enough cacao to go around. It's like this miracle happens. We've got you.
You really do. And even with navigating last minute changes and having a larger crowd come to you, my whole point is that make room, lady, because I think you're going to have a lot of folks that are going to be gravitated towards you for these things that you have to offer. And I've had the sincere pleasure to be in session with you, and powerful juice that you have.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
it's not like Reiki, but it is, but it isn't.
Similar.
I love that it's all energy.
Yes.
And that we have that language at least, and that it's all energy healing.
Yes.
But I also think there's this difference undeniably from folks who know where they're sourcing their power from.
Absolutely.
And who they're in communion with every day, and who they're willing to be in communion with every day.
Yeah.
And that takes so many boundaries. And it also takes keeping your container a certain way. So it's work is what I'm trying to convey to folks. This isn't just like you wake up, you turn on a light switch, and yes.
Thank you for recognizing and honoring that as well, because it is. It's very sacred to me. I don't take this lightly at all. It is very dear, and sacred's the word that comes to me for sure. You're right. I don't just show up and turn on a light bulb. Even before I get on a call with someone, there's a lot of intentional background things that I do to make sure that I align with a source greater than myself and show up for that person in the highest way possible.
Yeah. I'd love for folks to hear, even through my own experience and co-collaboration here, on what having a session with you looks like.
Thank you for asking. Of course, they're all tailored to each individual person. So even when I show up, I don't know where we're going. And I love being able to be guided intuitively by the other person. I do like to know them at a soul level. What does that mean? To be able to know what soul's energy you are gifted with, what gifts you have, whether it be communication or knowing truths or compassion or love. Like we all have our love. It's not a love language, but it's our soul's language. And from there, I know how to align. I'll just say you because it's easier here, right? To align you back to what is yours. If this is your soul's energy, these are your soul gifts. Why are you doing this thing over here? That's a distraction. That looks like an energy leak to me. And so then I always come back and ask you, you're always in charge. The client's always in charge of how this session goes. It's through you. And so what does this feel like to you? Are you ready to part with it? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to shift it so it fits a little better? Do you want to change where it sits in your body so it feels better? Do you want to maybe just shift your perspective on how you look at it? Hold on to it, but maybe look at it differently. Can we go at it at a different angle? I'm really good at seeing the energy in people and what it is. So the density of whatever comes up, and if it truly belongs with them or if it doesn't. If it doesn't, how can we shift it so it can? What feels good? What looks good? And again, it's this communication of, what do you feel? Do you see that? And sometimes people want to call in their angels and guides. I love that because it helps with the communication process. It's not then my words, it's their angels speaking to them. And I get to be the co-collaborator in that, in communicating through their guides and their angels. I love that. That's my preferred way if people are comfortable with that. Not everyone is. That's beautiful too. I want to speak the person's language. So if someone is very analytical, I try to keep it as analytical as possible and bring in as much science and logic to it. That's my language too. So I get that. Some people are very more esoteric and they want to see their guides and I see them too. And okay, let's talk to them. Okay, let's do that. And what does that look like?
Yeah.
It's always honoring the other person and what they want it to look like. And so I'll always say, this is your time. Where do you want to go? How can I help you?
Yes. And to unpack this just a little bit further for folks who are curious of the experience, when we jumped on the call, I really had no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
I knew that we were going to have a session together, but as soon as you got on the call, I was impressed because you were already in. So you had obviously taken time to prepare before. And you did tell me hey, I meditated. And you do that for initial sessions, right?
Yes.
You do some meditation to connect and receive information on behalf of the person.
Absolutely.
And can we talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
The info that you came with, and I was like, all right, I had no idea. But you come and say the types of energy that you're carrying, which is, you did say that, but I just want to deep dive a little more.
The types of energy as the soul work.
Yeah.
Before I get on a call with anyone, I make sure my energy is nice and clear. I put myself in a sacred container. I link to your energy, put you in your own sacred container. So we have very clear boundaries around what is yours and what is mine. It's very clear. And then I place a blue-violet flame between us. So anything that is released, because sometimes even through talking, even now, right here today, there's energy being released because words have power.
Yes.
And especially if we're channeling, certain words will come through for a certain frequency that have power. And so maybe it's to trigger you in a certain way and you release something, right? As you are speaking, even things might come out. So this blue-violet flame that's between us is automatically infusing anything that comes out back into love and light. And so it fills us back up. So it's immediately filling us back up as we also release what doesn't serve us. As far as the energy coming into it and knowing what energy you carry, people are familiar with human design now. It's similar to that, I think, and to how I don't really know a lot about human design, but I think it is similar, and that's a good way for people to understand it, maybe. I tap into your soul's information, and I ask questions. And when I ask questions, it's muscle testing. It's my way of knowing, like, this is her, this is not her. And so I ask a lot of questions. I can even ask questions like, are there vows running in your soul's history? Are there contracts holding you back? Are there bargains you've made in your soul's history? Or is this in your bloodlines? Is this an ancestral pattern? And then also when I'm with you, I'm like, is this an energetic trauma? Is this an emotional trauma? Is this a physical trauma? So there's definitely different levels and layers to this work. So yeah, thank you for help me unpack what I do.
Having languaging for these types of things, not so easy, not so simple. And you just did a beautiful job.
Okay.
I think that painting a picture for folks to understand what they would be in for is super helpful with your lens. And then I'd love to offer that on the receiving end, I dropped in super quickly, having your energy being lent to mine. And you were able to guide me using the flashlight, if you will, on finding those little spots in order to just take a look at and recognize. And I love that we have each other. I have to say it out loud. We need community because Spirit will use our team, Spirit team, and our team to convey messages to us when we're not able, for whatever subconscious 3D reason, able to see it. And I think that's so important.
Yeah, it is too. Thank you. It's comforting too and validating to be able to speak almost a different language and have people understand it. Because this is kind of new-ish to many people, and it can be foreign to many people, our logical minds and our ego tend to block it. Like, okay, I'm showing up on this call with this person I barely know. How could I possibly relax into my deepest, like, whatever? And so a lot of times I'll see it in someone, maybe the imbalance, but I'll ask them to gently close their eyes and go into almost a guided meditation. And to do the work, I say go in the back door of your mind, and to get your thinking mind out of the way, because our thinking mind is so limited and we don't have near the answers we do as we do in our subconscious mind. If we allow God to come in and really give us the answers in a different way, our mind isn't controlling the narrative anymore. And so I like to go in where they hear my voice. I can see it, but it's in a very abstract way. So I'm not poking the bear, so to speak, at the thing. I'm going around the thing and like, what does it look like? What color is it? How does it feel? It's looking at it very differently than hitting it head on and having to put words around it. It's shifting the energy without the words or the story.
Which is important to people who have tried it that way, right?
Sometimes I see things that don't have words, to my point of our logical mind is very limited. The English language is very limited. And I've learned the longer I've done this, there just aren't words for things. And analogy I like to make is a beautiful sunset with all the colors, and the colors are merging, and it's like, is it pink? Is it orange? Like that, it's very limiting for that beautiful landscape. And that's how it is for me. And so that's what it's called, light language, or people call it that. For me, it's a frequency that comes through instead of English words, based off of what I see and how what I see to shift on behalf of the client's highest good. So it comes through sometimes as songs, sometimes as gibberish, sometimes it just sounds like another language, but it's very, very powerful because it speaks directly to our subconscious mind and it bypasses our logic. And so again, it happens, it's very quick, it's very powerful, and it speaks paragraphs of information at a soul level. And so it really can shift us in ways that even English words I find aren't capable of, to my experience. That's my interpretation and experience of how I see and use light language. And again, sometimes it's a simple sound and I think it's beautiful. And again, I like that it is so powerful and it's quick. Once I bring that in, it's like, it's quicker than most other tools that I have.
It was like going on a journey for sure. And very powerful. I felt the shifts. I literally remember getting off of our first call the first time we met and just going, oh, thank you. Because sometimes it's lonely in this work and there's always work to do or we wouldn't be here, right?
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, my goodness, thank you for having a Heather here in Colorado that took the nudge from Indiana so that I can know about this level of support that people can have in a different way to name things, find them, eliminate them if it's needed, nurture it if it's needed. And I think that is so beautiful the way you do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very gentle.
And I always like to pace it so people feel safe, because if we don't feel safe, we're not going to be able to let go, understand, move on, make a change, grow into more, whatever it is they want to do, have more abundance. So it really starts with feeling safe with me, feeling safe with our intentions for the day. And so my goal is always to help other people feel comfortable.
Yes. And I love that you bring it back to folks' discernment too, because I think that's one reason I don't have scarcity mentality and energy healing work, right? Everybody's has a flavor of something they need, and it's also complementary, everybody's skill sets. And if everybody needed Heather all at the same time, that wouldn't be possible. And also, I'm excited, though, that there's access to you online. So for folks who don't know, you have a YouTube channel.
I do have a YouTube channel. I'll put little tidbits up there of things that come to me, messages that I don't know how to explain any other way. They're kind of short and sweet. I tend to be pretty succinct with my messages. That's just who I am and how I deliver. But yeah, through YouTube. And then I like to have my call. There's numbers of reasons I like to have my calls on distance as well.